Hello, Dr. Caroline. My name is Kim Wilson. I am an EMRO Quantum retailer. These are my very dear friends, Christy and Ray Godman. They have begun using the energy discs with some amazing results, and we want to share that with you folks today.
Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, Ray and I met in 1987. Throughout the years, we had 4 great kids. In the year 2010, Ray was driving home and had a stroke. And that was in the month of July. Between July and September of the year 10, Ray had a total of two or three strokes and a heart attack. And then Ray never really bounced back from those episodes. Now, if we fast forward 8 years, up until a few months ago, up until about 2 months ago, Ray was almost bedridden. In the past 8 years, without recovering from the heart attacks and the stroke, he has deteriorating disc. He has COPD. He has emphysema. He's been diagnosed with dementia and arthritis and the shaking, which probably is going to lead to Parkinson's, though too early to test for at this point. So the chronic pain seemed to be our biggest hurdle. Ray couldn't do basic
Everyday activities.
Yeah, basic everyday activities were very, very difficult for Ray. And the doctor's, walking. The doctor's solution for that over a period of 8 years was, pain relief, pain medicine. And that, because I didn't know any better, that became our go-to. Mm-hmm. He'd be given some pain medicine and maybe he could walk a little bit further, or he could bend a little bit lower, or he could sit a little bit longer. And then that would last for a few months. And then, he was back to being extremely uncomfortable most of the time. So then you go back to the doctor and they give us more pills, etc.
Steroid injections, 4 of them, they just never worked. And they were giving me the max treatment, but still, it didn't help. Started feeling it better, like moving around, going up and down the stairs, and it's just getting better all the time.
Originally, when the company, kind of started up and I was introduced to the energy discs, I guess it was probably in June or July of 2017. I believe that that's when they had just started with the steroid injections. Their first steroid injection showed a lot of promise for Ray. So at that point in time, I had discussed the product with Christy, but they were still doing their traditional PAP. Mm-hmm. The traditional PAP continued. Each time, less and less success, to the point that we really weren't having any success, and Christy really was at wit's end. She left her primary care physician one day, and the primary care physician basically had told her, we are out of options. There's no stronger pain medication. There's no more shots. There's no more anything. I think the suggestion was to begin to pursue some holistic or alternative medicine. So Christy has basically hit the wall and finally said, what can we do? My answer was, let's try the discs.
Right. And what did you think, Christy, reluctantly?
No, at that point, I was beyond desperate.
Yeah.
I had been, I guess, trained to believe that, Dr. Amy was going to fix it. Because she had fixed it before. She never cured the problem, but she did give us relief. And every time she gave us relief, relief for us meant tying his own shoes and being able to, pick up the ball when the dog drops it at his feet. So Dr. Amy, for years, had given us those opportunities. they weren't long-lasting, but yet she did provide them for us.
Right.
I never saw any negatives. Maybe just because I was busy, maybe just because I was overwhelmed. Sitting here now, I feel so foolish. Like,
no, don't.
Like, oh my God, if all I had to do was call Kim, like, where would we be had I called Kim 8 years ago? I'm willing to try anything. I was desperate, and you know, with the opioid epidemic in our country, the way it's horribly is, I would like to honestly say, like, I could never be one of those people. But let me tell you, he was too doped up to be desperate, but I was desperate. And it just so happened that Kim literally was like, swing by and get these discs tomorrow, take them home, and, you know, right, you know,
See what happens.
See what happens. And that was a Saturday, and by Monday, my husband walked from our bedroom to our refrigerator without assistance. And I was like I'm seeing a miracle.
Miracle.
Like, if he never does it again, like, we did it this time.
Yeah.
And you know, little things, like, I can't even begin to tell you how many little things. Our granddaughter was blowing bubbles yesterday, and Ray was able to focus and point at the bubble in the middle of the air as it's floating down and pop it. Do you know how much clarity that takes and hand-eye coordination that takes? Like, Ray couldn't remember the difference between 2 armholes and a neck hole.
Yeah.
So if he was trying to put on clothing, he would get them, like, the head went in a hole.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it was the neck hole. So then the armholes wouldn't line up.
Right.
And he would literally be stuck in a shirt sitting on the bed.
Yeah.
And he had no arms to help him get up.
Right. Scary situation. And after 3 days, and you saw this remarkable progress, what did you think, and what did you and Kim think?
Kim believed it all along, and I was a little skeptic, because if you back up that to 2 weeks prior, we had the steroid injection.
Right.
So truthfully, I was thinking possibly maybe the steroid injection took 2 weeks to go from the butt of his spine to the 4th disc. Like, I mean, it's no crazier than, you know, these discs working, right? You know?
Right.
And then, yeah, is there, you know, lingering pain medicine in there that is helping numb his body but is clearing his head? Because in these 3 or 4 days, like, you can see his head clearing. Like, he knows the children's name. He remembers the dog's name.
Read a book to Carolyn.
Correct. He read a book. I mean, for the first time in years. It's a free. Right. I mean, like, you can see the fog lifting. It is. Yeah, it is amazing. And, like, our children who, you know, pretty much come by daily or whatever, you know, he can have a reasonable conversation. He can do follow-ups with the children.
And so what discs did you start Ray on, and what are you using now on a regular basis?
Maybe Kim could answer that.
So we originally started with performance, back relief, back pain, and then just a relief disc. That's kind of what we had, and that's where we went initially.
Yeah.
After that, we added 2 wristbands, and we saw a huge increase in balance.
Yeah.
And just recently, we have also added a circulation disc.
The ones on his legs.
Correct. Circulation disc, and yeah, it's contributing to the journey.
Good.
When Ray was at therapy, they tried to get him to stand on one leg, and it took 2 men for Ray not to be able to stand on one leg, and he had a man on either side of him supporting him. Ray now he does need to put his arm on my shoulder, but if we stood up right now, Ray could put just one arm on my shoulder and lift his leg, like maybe just a few inches. But, I mean, I don't know what year we were at the doctor's, but, you know, a few years ago, there is, like, medical records that say Ray and Dr. West and his assistant went down on the mat.
Like, they had lost, sometime overnight, the discs had actually come off and were on the covers. Ray woke up the next morning, pain level had increased. Christy didn't realize till late in the afternoon there were no discs on Ray. So she went and found them and tried to get them back on. Long story short, they were at the end of their 5 days. Fresh discs, fresh start, off we went. Now they had reached the next hurdle of 5 more days, and now they were trying to recycle older discs, not getting the same results. Brought her over new discs on a Wednesday at 11:30. And by 7 o'clock that night, Ray was back to a 2, maybe 3 pain threshold and alert and ready to play Jeopardy. Yes?
Yeah.
Wow.
The discs work for Ray. It takes about 4 or 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Twice now, we've quote, quote, lost them unexpectedly. They got stuck to the sheets, and then because he wears them on his back. So one was stuck on the inside of his shirt, and I was unaware of it. The other time it was stuck on the sheet, and again, I was unaware of it. But when Ray comes out of the bedroom, you can see what his pain level is going to be, what he's holding on to, and how he's looking for stuff to hold on to.
Right.
And how low he walks bent over. And that particular day, the one day I still remember it, Thursday morning he walked out of the bedroom and everything was fine. He takes a late morning / early afternoon nap. And when he woke up from his nap, he was bent over looking for pills, needed his pills. And I gave him his pill, and he went back to bed. And at like 4 or 5 o'clock, when he woke up from like his second nap, I realized his patches weren't on him. Excuse me, the discs weren't on him, and they were stuck to the blanket, to the sheets.
Yeah.
Put them on, and he like rebounded. That's when I became a 75% believer in the patches.
Mm-hmm.
And I became 100% believer in the patches. Excuse me, just when it happened the second time.
Yeah. So the skepticism stayed with you a little bit, but the results when you reapplied fresh discs and the change you saw in Ray immediately after reapplying fresh discs, that's really what
it's all the variables in the equation. Every time you wrote down the variables that were in the equation when he was getting better, the discs were the only constant. Like every single time that he had a huge improvement within hours, the discs were there. And that's just it.
So you are now an EMRO Quantum retailer on Kim's team. You went through an amazing personal journey, both of you, and feel as if this is a calling or a purpose that you feel morally obligated to share it with others. If anyone was listening to this video who struggled with pain or knows someone who struggles with pain, what would you like to tell them?
Try it. There's no negative side effects. Try it. It took me 3 weeks to become a believer, but I am sitting back and looking at where I was for the last 8 years. We had 8 wasted years.
Mm-hmm.
8 wasted years, and a lot of turmoil and trauma to other parts of his body.
Yeah.
And just the fact that, you know, his muscles weakening, all that stuff, you know, could have been avoided had we been exposed to the discs,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 8 years ago.
Right, right. And more people need to learn and know and hear about the power of energy medicine and how safe it is and how effective it is. And there's so many people suffering that I hope through your story, we will be able to reach those people and help them avoid 8 wasted years.
Correct. So do I. I mean, he doesn't remember our only granddaughter being a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many wasted years, so many events, so many graduations he missed.
Yeah.
You know, and then when he's in chronic pain, the only thing he thinks about, even if he's physically present, we're always concerned about where is he going to sit? How are we going to get to the bathroom? How are we going to do this? Does it require stairs? You know, all of those things that you really miss a lot of the moment, even if you're physically there, because all those other things are affected. But
and now your lives have changed. Now that you have been introduced to energy medicine and EMRO Quantum discs, Ray, how do you feel that your life has changed?
I know it every day when I wake up. You know, I know it's going to be better, because it is. And, you know, it's not new to, as, what do you call them, disc energy?
the energy disc.
I mean, that's the only thing that's a constant. You know, I can take all kind of other pills, but they don't do it. It's got to be these. It's nothing else it could be. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It don't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah. No needles, no shots, no injections.
Yeah, we're good with this.
Yeah, we are. It's had a huge ripple effect on their entire family. It hasn't been just, you know, Ray feeling better and working towards, you know, a lower pain level and moving forward in so many fantastic ways. It's improved Christy's life. It's improved their life as a couple. It's improved their children's lives, their grandchildren's lives. It has touched so many people in just a small amount of time and has really incredibly changed their lives for the better.
And Kim, I want to thank you so much for having the courage and the perseverance to keep reaching out to Christy and Ray. And Christy and Ray, you also deserve a lot of credit for having an open mind and being willing to try something brand new that you never heard about and putting your faith in something that you couldn't understand. So all of you, all 3 of you there, I want to congratulate you for making such a monumental difference in so many people's lives, and I thank you for that. And there's more to come, and I look forward to seeing Ray continue to improve. Christy, I look forward to seeing you be a successful EMRO Quantum representative. Kim, this is just the beginning. You all, I love you very much for sharing that story, and I know that you will reach other people and save lives.
And I want to say one other thing that is kind of huge. When we were seeing traditional medicine doctors, no one ever said that they were going to take Ray's pain forever. We always knew that they were going to try to lower his pain level for a period of time. And, you know, with the energy discs, we kind of believe that maybe a year or so, you know, we may be able to, like, be healed internally. Yeah. Wouldn't that be incredible? Because even the traditional medical didn't say that they could do that for us.
Yes.
And so far, everything about the discs has been positive for us. Literally not one negative, like there is with pills.
Yes.
Take this pill, it causes swelling. Take this pill, it causes this. No. There's nothing like that with with the disc. So, that's another huge thing for somebody that's on, a handful of different medicines a day. What is this one affecting? And, da-da-da. And it can become a huge challenge.
Exactly.
When you open up the medicine cabinet at 3 o'clock in the morning and there's 38 things to choose from.
And now I hear you said earlier Ray takes how many pills a day?
Ray is down to maybe 1 pill a day.
Amazing.
Like, you don't even know amazing.
Yeah.
You don't even know the clarity that is, and we can see the clarity happening daily.
Mm-hmm.
He got a couple answers right on Jeopardy the other day. I mean,
4.
Yes, 4 answers correct on Jeopardy. I mean, it's been years. Years. Because his mind couldn't think fast enough to get the answer out.
I hope we can touch base in 6 months or a year from now, and like you said, let's see if there comes a day when his body is back in total homeostasis, total balance, and he's healed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for letting us share this just miraculous story with you, Dr. Caroline.
Thank you guys very much for all of your time. And from all of us at EMRO Quantum, we wish you guys many, many blessings. God bless you both, and all 3 of you there. And thank you again for sharing your story. And I look forward to working with all of you in the near future.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Dr.
Excited to be a part of this revolution. Thank you.